to know who needs to go Chris Paul in 2021 as a player, meaning you'd like to see them make a run at a Super Bowl ring finally, Shregs?
I feel like Chris Paul might be more recognized for his insurance ads than what he does on the court, and yet here he is at 37 years old getting to the Western Conference Finals and might be a series win over the Clippers, his former team, from being finally in the NBA Finals. One of the best players of his generation. I think he's a Hall of Fame player, yet hasn't gotten over the hump and won the big ones. Is that not the same story as Matthew Stafford with the Los Angeles Rams right now? This is a guy who has put up all the numbers, was the face of a franchise for more than a decade, is respected by his peers like no other, and yet has never won a playoff game. Never. Has had a few opportunities to get that win, some unfortunate officiating in a Dallas game that might have kept him from one, but I look at him and I think these two careers are similar. Now, Chris Paul, probably a surefire Hall of Famer. Matthew Stafford, not at this point. But if he could put together a few years of big numbers and some Super Bowl appearances, we might be talking about him in Canton at some point. Chris Paul, Matthew Stafford, I see a lot of comparisons right there.
Yeah, I'll be quick, and this guy doesn't have a comparable career to Chris Paul, but I do feel like Derek Carr needs to have a Chris Paul-like season. I mean, there's been criticism throughout his career, especially after him signing that big deal. He's had some moments where he looked really good, but if he can show up and really just shock everybody. Chris Paul even came out recently and said, a couple of years ago, they said I was washed and I didn't have it. Now everybody's praising me. There's been plenty of times where people have been critical of Derek Carr. Now make sure they praise you this upcoming season. Kyle, what do you think?
I'm going to surprise myself with this answer. I respect both of those. I would really like to see Matt Ryan get back. It's a good player. He seems like a very good person and a family man. No one should have to live with the 28-3 punchline for the rest of his life, and he will. It wasn't his fault. It's not the reason he blew the lead. And the fact is, if the smoking gun is with anybody, it's with Kyle Shanahan, who's now completely moved on and never hears about it and is the head coach in San Francisco. Matt Ryan will hear about that for the next 70 years unless he gets back and avenges that, and I personally am rooting for him.